So we are almost back, guys. Welcome to what I believe will be round 7 of the Arden Cup being held in Chicago. So our next round will be Marty, Gabriel and Geoff Thevenot, and we have just been waiting for Marty to finish because he is slightly behind the schedule of everyone else. But let's go back to the standings and have a quick peek-see at how these players are doing. Geoff is currently 3rd. He is 4-2. The number 3 seed, so he's performing exactly where we think he should be. And Marty Gabriel is leading the tournament. He is undefeated, 6-0. If you can see behind the game imminent sign, I may need to shrink that. He won his last game versus Randy Goldberg by 104 points. And as Chris Light comments in our Twitch chat, Marty just doesn't look like he is going to lose right now. And Aaron is playing his Tukas off, but can't catch up. I'm glad I'm all the way in England because I'm not sure I want to see him without his Tukas. But we are going to wait for Marty to have his customary 2-minute break. And we will be starting the game hopefully very, very shortly. I don't know the format of this tournament, but it looks like it is a round robin kind of format. And no, that is not just a large, plump robin redbreast. It's an even larger, plumper robin redbreast. So it sounds like we have the players, we have the equipment, and we may have also got the players' brains. We're just waiting for them to locate the tiles and pick said tiles, and then we will get started. So in the meantime, let's speculate about their racks. I bet it will contain 7 consonants and 24 vowels, because that's just how Scrabble works. I bet these players really should have played Super Scrabble after all. If you missed it at the start, I had my cockle set up for Super Scrabble and it was hilarious. Okay, so we have some opening racks approaching us. And it's Geoff to start. And he has got a bean wig on his rack. So immediately he's looking at maximizing that B. Trying to maximize all those letters. The best of the letters, plus the worst of them. And the best play is to be wig. Now, I know that Geoff knows this word, and he'll be contemplating how it's best to play this word, because he will inevitably be leaving a vowel next to the double letter square. So he may even consider not playing B-Wig or sacrificing points, or doing even something like weeing, just to avoid placing a vowel where he doesn't want to place the vowel. As it's the first move, there isn't really too much to think about. There's only really one place to play. You just choose whether you play it vertically or horizontally. You've only really got max like 7 places to position it, depending on the length of the word. So you've just got to choose the word, and Bob suddenly becomes your uncle. It's possible that Geoff is deciding here whether it should be the E that goes next to the double letter square or the I. A lot of it I find is a toss of a coin. If my opponent has the consonants, yeah. But he plays whinge for 26, which doesn't leave any vowels next to anything, which is some of the best that he could have hoped for. He scored the second best amount of points and didn't leave any vowels in any kind of precarious positions. So it's Marty's turn, and he's got roop face. It's not a word, but immediately he needs to get rid of 2 or 3 of W, P, F, and C. They aren't the best letters, and they're definitely the worst when they're all clumped together. So he's looking to play through the I, or maybe to play around, hooking onto whinge to make winger. So maybe something like crew or rap could be good plays. Yeah, there are lots of hooks to whinge. T's in front, you know, stuff behind. I'm not really a fan of opening the game with such a flexible word. It just means that your opponent is more likely to be able to get stuff down. So he does WAP. It's not the best lead. He could have probably played an extra tile. He probably should have played an extra tile. Because he is leaving a very consonant heavy lead. And it's not the best one in the world. He is relying on a vowel heavy pickup. So Geoff actually changes here, assuming he keeps the E. He does have some scoring options available, like bow and this batchic cry of frenzy we keep talking about. I think I would definitely do this over exchanging. I'm not sure why he didn't consider it. He probably just missed it. but we will have to see if he gets alerted of such a fact after the game. And I think, considering the lead from EUOI was BOA, it's not the worst lead in the world. It's actually really, really good, because it's balanced. And there are definitely, you know, it's not like you're scoring 5 either. You'd be scoring 22, which is a very, very reasonable score on a board like this when you've only got 1 pointers. So Marty's looking at the vowels here. He needs to get rid of some of this really bad stuff, some of these high scoring stuff, and he plays chef for 12. I can't say I blame him, but it doesn't do much for the dynamics of the board. It completely closes out the top half of the board, and it relies on somebody bonusing down column B, making swap to actually make any use of the top half of the board. So hopefully someone plays a bonus soon. Of course, Marty is close to a bonus himself, and he will be very, very aware of that, and very aware that his pickup could bring him that bonus. So he's not that worried about leaving the board only open to S's, because no S's and no blanks have been played, and he is of course holding on to it. So Geoff's now looking at a board where he's not got any of the S's, all the blanks, all very much else interesting, to be fair. Immediately I'm thinking Pikelet is going to be a reasonable play. It's 26 points, leaves T and R, plays 5 tiles. It does kill off one of the S hooks, but it provides scoring opportunities if your opponent does bonus, which it looks like they may do. And yeah, it seems like Geoff does play Pikelet. Got to love baby pikes. I wonder what kind of sound baby pikes make. So Marty is he has 6 really nice letters, and then he has the Y. We're seeing bonus suggestions already in the chat. I'm sure these guys are very, very quick. Lipey is saying that by holding the S hook, you want to restrict all the hooks to have only S's, because all the other hooks were very easy. So, you know, winger, you know, you want to restrict the flexibility of the hooks on the board, because the easier the hooks are, the more likely bonuses get played. And when you reduce flexibility, you get more defense. Decisory was the suggestion in chat. Well done to Jalapik for seeing that. Unfortunately, Marty did not see it. He goes for soldiery. And Geoff's rack is not so great. It's full of 1-pointers, and he doesn't have that floating M that he needs. So he's really looking to just dump his duplicates here and hope for the best, and he does that. Whether or not he's hoping for the best, I'm not sure. But as you can see, it turns out that with the play of soldiery, Marty did not use the S hook on swap at all. So what tends to happen sometimes is that you leave a lot of openings and then you end up not using them at all. So yeah, that happens. But Geoff is going to look to maximise, Marty is going to look to maximise his J. He's only got one vowel, so ideally he would look to do something like job here. It scores 42 points, it keeps that all important vowel, and it doesn't restrict any of the openings already on the board. And he does play not job, he plays jam. So he probably missed job. And that's quite unfortunate for him. It would have been the better play. And unfortunately he misses it. Just by virtue of keeping the vowel, makes it the better play. I'm sorry, I can't work out plays from just rap. And I think this is his rack, and I think he plays a bonus, and I think he plays it here because there's nowhere else to play the specific word, and we're going to pretend that nothing happened. Yeah, Jalahik, it's possible he's trying to close the B lane now that he doesn't have the S. But he's also not leading the game at all. You know, I mean, by closing it up, it just restricts his possibility to score later on. And the thing is, Job also blocked Literati, so you know, in the end, I mean, even though you could tell that Geoff was fishing by his play of IE, then you know, you can't always assume that they're holding S's. And that's always something to remember. Just because your opponent is fishing doesn't mean that they're holding S's and blanks. It just means they've got like 4 or 5 really nice letters. So it seems like the players are playing super fast again. So Bud is the best play. Geoff has So Marty had the unplayable bustled, unfortunately for him. And Geoff's looking at a clunky rack here. He's not got the best letters in the world, but that D of Bud gives him the perfect way to sort out his rack. And now Marty is looking at an extremely nice rack. Very balanced, very pretty. Unfortunately for him, he's pretty much taken almost every opportunity to score. But he can fit it underneath literati. Yeah, Jalopik. Also, Iffy Bingo is likely to have a solid comeback playing column 8. Yeah, I always consider leaving all the inner borders bonus lanes open. So column B, column N, row 2, row 14. I always consider leaving those open just because the comeback plays, if I've got a lot of high point consonants and some vowels, I'm easily scoring 40, maybe 50 off of a bonus. And you always have to remember that. Sometimes it's okay to allow bonuses if you know that you're going to get a solid score back. And also, if they're only scoring 60, 70 tops, they're not scoring 80 tops. And if you know that you're almost going to get 30 points back, you know, that's half of their bonus gone. At least that's how I like to think of it. Oh wow, there's even more anagrams of battles and tablets. You've got battles and batlets. Is a batlet a tiny bat? And of course, battles is the play that doesn't leave the E next to the square or the E next to the square. So yeah, you know what I mean. The E next to that light blue square. The thingy. You can tell I'm tired. So Geoff's rack went from picking the blank to being really awful. So he's now thinking, how do I play some letters for points? Jalopik once again in chat saying burn the blank. I'm not going to repeat the rest of that sentence because you should consider burning the blank here. But not burning the blank because you can make it a U and what do you get? A nice 84-point play. And considering, you know, you're getting 84 points, you're essentially getting a bonus here. So you're not burning the blank. But yeah, the best non-scoring blank burning play is Nav for 39. And considering using up the blank is an extra 45 points, you go for the blank play. Especially on this kind of board dynamic, if you're saving the blank, what are you saving it for? You know, you're saving it for a bonus, but where is that bonus going to come from? Considering the board dynamics, that bonus is only going to come from column N or through the C in the Chef. And those are extremely low scoring bonuses, so you shouldn't turn down 45 points because you don't want to use a blank in a word that isn't a bonus. And you'll hear me talk a lot about board dynamics. I'm just that kind of player that likes the shape of the board. I like watching my opponents struggle with the shape of the board. This is the kind of board that I find a lot of players struggle with. They struggle to play on a board that doesn't have obvious move choices. And a lot of players aren't aware of how to really make use of this kind of defensiveness. Now, because these guys are Americans, they will have played before a time when CSW is a thing. And I've played enough TWL in my time as a Collins player to know that TWL, because it has a lot less words, it's a lot more defensive a board. So a lot of the American players are used to playing tighter boards. They're used to playing on boards where certain things just aren't possible. Like C's aren't possible in TWL in 2-letter words. So with the increased flexibility in Collins, you've got more potential, but also the decreased flexibility in TWL means these guys know how to play a tighter board, and that's something a lot of players outside of America can't do. But let's talk about Marty's rack. He's looking at a rack that on another board might be really nice. On this board it's terrible. There is no bonus, and in many ways he might be looking to fish. He'll be looking to make an opening of some sort, something to have a second lane, something that maybe gives him the opportunity to score more points. But you also have to consider that the scores are virtually level at this point and Marty has a turn in hand. So if you're confident on a tighter board, you have to think, do I need to open the board? Do I need to create this kind of board volatility that can end up biting me in the backside? So I would consider just playing Mog underneath battles. There are only 4 eyes left. There is 1 F, 1 H, and 3 R's left that go in front of the EM, the 2-letter word that you create. You're holding on to the, well, you've gotten rid of the G. Oh, there's another G in the bag. Did I say that? And it takes out the S as well, and oh, I didn't know that one. Where's my chat when I need it? Scarmoge. Scarmoge. I don't know what it means. If only Quacker had a dictionary suggestion. Next update, please. It does take out the S of battles, and it keeps the board very, very blocked still. It means there's no longer really a lane for bonuses except for that C, which we could have just seen. So Geoff takes his points here for Viva. It's clearly the best he can do on this board. The V is not a great floater. The A, you're very unlikely to be able to hit an A ending with A. So any bonus, if Marty does play one, will score 59, 60 points. So you'll only be about 30, 40 behind. And you are holding the F and the H. So you have comeback scoring potential if the bonus does happen. So Marty, in fact, doesn't have a bonus through the A, but he does have a really nice 40-point play here that's been created by Viva. He may be a bit wary of it because it creates a nice, easy scoring opportunity down column N, but it takes away a lot of the bonus opportunity. So the only letters we're really looking at to put there at N6 is the Y. The Y is the most dangerous letter that could go there, because even though the H and the F, sorry, not the F, just the H and maybe the D could go there, they won't extend all the way to the double word square. So they're not super, it's not a super stressful place as it looks. And yes, Radix comes out on top and is what is played. And of course, on this kind of board, a 40-point play is very useful, because on these kind of boards, 40-point plays are almost equivalent to your bonuses. Yes, Lipey, we know it was missed. I did get that. But yeah, Geoff is 28 points behind. And the board is still not looking too great. It's still really ugly. The top half is starting to get slightly opened, but it's still not where you want it to be if you're trying to win. Now, of course, he does have the H for the CH that we were talking about. And it may be worth keeping the H to play down column I, because that would be a nice 30 points right there if the opportunity presents itself. So the next question is, if you keep the H, what do you play? And Geoff has already decided what to play, and he is deciding to keep the H, but also as a hook to his play. So he's played Alf. That takes an H and a C in front. And of course, if there is an opportunity to play perpendicular to Alf, you can play down column I with that H. So that move has a double meaning, and it's worth considering keeping certain letters, especially on closed boards, when they present the opportunity to score more points that are ordinarily available. And considering it's an H, it's a lot of points. So Marty will now be thinking, I don't have my bonus lane that I wanted. And I find a lot of players are usually frustrated when they can't get their bonuses down, when they shuffle their racks, they keep coming back to their bonuses. They can't see beyond the bonus. I think I'd consider doing DVOS here. And yes, I know what that word means to Americans in the current political system. Oh yes, an L hook too. I'm not completely familiar with all my not really up on my hooks. Ah, Solders makes rodless as well. Okay, I missed that one. I guess if you're a fisherman, you can be rodless. So apparently words are going on the board, and words are also coming off the board. Also dorsals. Dorsals, rodless and roadless. They are the 3 playable bonuses. Marty plays dorsals and it gets challenged. We need to. I'm gonna guess 1 word was challenged, so I will give this a +5. And we will send the dorsals on its way. It's interesting to see Geoff challenge this. He should know his front hooks to his 3s, and he should also know something that seems like a 7, a selection of 7 letters he should have studied as well. He does spend a lot of time studying. So it does surprise me that it was challenged. And it's probably also because on this kind of board, getting that bonus has kind of meant the end of the world. Because it means, you know, he gets score, Marty gets score, gets turnover, and he gets the shot at that blank as well. So now Geoff doesn't have a way of maximising his Z. There's no reason to have that H now. And the only thing I can see is as on, which is what he does. It's 42 points. It breaks up the duplicates. And it's all he can really hope for. And Marty has drawn the second blank. And he's got really nice letters. He's drawn really well this game, yes. And he'll be looking at the A's on the board. They give the best opportunity to bonus. They pretty much give the only opportunity to bonus. It's just you know, been that kind of board, that kind of dynamic. So he'll be looking a lot at, it might be taking a while, going through his alphabet. A, B, C, D, you don't want to mess with me. I see goatiest. That may be... oh, goatiest and cogitate, yeah. So Marty's going to take some time over this, try and look for the bonus, because undoubtedly any bonus at this point wins the game for Marty. There is no comeback on this board. It would take some kind of weird miracle, like Auto Worker, spoilers, to win the game. And I don't see any opportunity of Auto Workers on this board. Now, I'm going to admit, looking for a bonus is really hard at this point. You know that your only floater is really an A. So you're trying to put an A into this word. And the words do have common endings. Cogitate ends in ATE. Goatiest ends in IEST. And sometimes you need to try and imagine rearranging those initial 7 letters with the blank. Blanks do make it harder to find bonuses. I'm sure if he had a C or an S on his rack, he would find either of them. Or both of them. But with the blank, it just makes it that tiny bit harder. Just because he's having to think of 26 other letters to go with this selection of 7, rather than just trying to rearrange the 7 or 8. And of course, because both A's are kind of in the same place, it doesn't really matter which one you play around. Obviously, if you play around the A along the top of the board, you open out that top left quadrant, whereas if you play through the A of Viva, nothing else is really opened. You may only have like one possible play opened, but otherwise that's essentially it. See, there's nothing new opened when it really comes down here, except for this N10 square. And Gautius gets played, and I think it's worth sacrificing the 1 point to prevent this vowel injustice right here. It's such a vowel injustice. Geoff is feeling much vowel injustice right now. He's not got any. Well, he's got one. That's the kind of vowel injustice he's feeling. And he's decided not to use any of his vowels, just score some points. He's not going to win. He's struggling to come close to getting any points. There's no lanes left. There's no anything left. And yeah, it's damage limitation. And yes, Marty now knows Geoff's final rack. Oh, sorry, Geoff now knows Marty's final rack. And yes, E-I-E-I-O, that's where all his vowels went. Old MacDonald took them and kept them for himself. And I've always found that if I'm ever full of the same kind of letter, so I'd rather almost be full of vowels than full of consonants, because you can almost always make a word that's full of vowels, but you can't always make a word that's full of consonants. So we're looking at this, and Marty doesn't really care. He may end up playing something like cooey, or maybe he'll look at the Z of add-on, try and squeeze something in between dorsals and Gautius. Maybe just Zoo, Z-O-O, up there. Cooey fits at B10. He's gone for... Oh, Coo fits there. Oh, I missed that. He's gone for voice. N8. I'm pretty sure Coo will come out best. We know that Geoff isn't going to have much opportunity to do stuff. He's going to be really stuck with his one vowel. As is often the case with the type board, there are no floating vowels. Or very few floating vowels. So it then becomes hard to deal with your surplus of consonants. And of course, with him trying to do damage limitation at this point, trying to prevent a surplus of consonants is a bad thing. And at this point, is Geoff thinking, maybe I should have put the H in front of Alf. Because if he'd have done that, there wouldn't have been an extra bonus lane, and he didn't need that extra bonus lane. So, is he regretting keeping the H for the parallel that I talked about, when not playing the H opened up the floodgates? Okay, he's played Pura here. I'm not surprised, there's not much else on offer. And Marty's gone out with Tor because he tore a puddy tat. Oh no, he hasn't gone out with Tor. And then Geoff has played and then The eye has just Marty's eye left. So I'm sure he'll play it, or not, probably not there. Probably there. Oh, I'm missing something. Okay, it was GI that was played. Thank goodness. So Marty wins 4-9-5 to 3-9-2. He increases his spread a lot. And according to our wonderful informant Lipey, Aaron also lost his game. As we can see here, he lost to David Whitley by 21 points. He lost to the 6th seed. So Marty has opened up a 2-game gap on Aaron, and Aaron will be relying on beating him for the next game on stream in order to have any hopes of winning this tournament. So I will see you guys after a quick break, and we will rejoin for the last game of day 1 of this Memorial Day weekend Arden Cup. And I will see you next time for some more Scrabbles in a bit.